everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another vlog. Thank you so much for all the lovely feedback about last week's episode where I went through my countdown of the top 5 Bream soft plastics. Now, I had a great chat to Dale Baxter last week and Dale made a really good point in terms of continuity of videos. It would make perfect sense to this week talk about my top 5 Bream hard bodies. So in front of me, I've got just a small selection of hard bodies that I've collected over the years. Now, much like you guys, I am a bit of a tackle junkie, so over the years I have built up quite an impressive collection, but I'm going to narrow it down to my top 5, and I don't think there'll be too many surprises, especially around what's number 1, but some of the other ones I think will surprise you guys a little bit, but we'll go through them and talk about some of the techniques, some of the situations and scenarios in terms of structure and depths and things like that. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Cheers. So coming in at number 5 this week is the Pontoon 21 Crackjack. So my 5th favourite lure of all time is the 48mm medium runner. So the Crackjacks come in a variety of different bib sizes. So we've got a shallow runner, which is that guy there with a small bib. We have the medium runner, which I find to be the best all-rounder, as well as the big bib for the deep diving or the deep runner. So Crackjacks from Pontoon 21 come in a variety of different colours. You've got your naturals, you've got your reflectives such as the gold, silver and orange bellies. Here, this is my absolute all-time favourite colour for yellowfin and black brim. Some of the key features of the Pontoon 21s and the Crackjack especially, you've got fantastic hardware, you've got strong split rings, you've got great ST36 owner hooks come factory fitted. The lures swim straight and true out of the box, so there's no tweaking required to that toe point at all. And the paint work is absolutely sensational. And finally, the last key feature of the Pontoon 21 Crackjack is just the action that the lure provides. So without having to do incredible twitches with the rod tip, the lure really switches from side to side, moving erratically, moving like a wounded bait fish. I think the action that the angler is able to impart and that the lure, the way it's been designed, really makes it quite irresistible to brim and a variety of other species. So along with some of the other features that I talked about earlier, the action, the rattle that's nice and subtle, really makes this lure stand out when chasing big bream. Coming in hot at number 4 is the ever reliable, long-standing Gear SX40. Now, very similar to my video last week with the soft plastics where we talked about squidgies. I think anyone who's chased brim in Australia is absolutely familiar with the Gear brand and especially the SX40 lure. So it's a 40mm medium to deep diving little bait fish imitation. Now they come in a variety of colours. The SX40 range has had an absolutely astounding colour range, as well as having a number of different sizes and different versions throughout the years, such as the long cast model. I'm just going to be talking about the stock standard SX40 range today, and just going to quickly show you guys a couple of the different colours that are on offer. So we've got some naturals, some clears and greens, got some greeny browns that are fantastic all throughout the country, in WA, in New South Wales. So some of these have even been named after some of the river systems around Australia. We've got the little Foster Special there. One of these I think was the Hawkesbury or the Vampire from WA. We've got some matte finishes as well. So in dirty stained water, the matte gold and black with a little bit of orange. So that one's been beaten up over the years a little bit. That's caught some great fish, held my PB for quite a while. And then the other finish that they do especially well is the reflective finish. So we've got some bait fish imitations with a brown back, silver body. Again, similar to the Pontoon 21 colour, we've got gold, silver and orange and a bit of a black grey back. So that's a standout colour anywhere we go in a variety of different lures, sizes and colours. And then finally, my other favorite in the SX40 range, which was coined the Christmas tree. So that's the gold, orange and green. And that's caught a number of big fish for me over the years, especially in Melbourne Metro and the Patterson River. If I could take two of the SX40s locally, I'd be taking the Christmas tree and the matte gold into the paddo there with me. But look, the SX40, fantastic action out of the box. Doesn't have that same ability to be twitched as much as the Pontoon 21 that we talked about earlier. They do swim well out of the box. They've got great ST36 owner hooks that come standard on these as well, so there's no need to change them out of the packet. And really, look, for value for money, the ability to just get good casting distance on these, fish them in a variety of different scenarios. You can fish them on rock walls, around pontoons, boat hulls. They're a really versatile lure, and that's why they're my number 4 pick of the best bream hard bodies of all time. Alrighty, coming in at number 3 is the OSP Duck. Now the Duck is a 48mm deep diving hard body. They come in a variety of different colours. We've got a lot of natural crawl looking colours, a lot of natural greens, as well as some of the darker finishes that you guys see here today, like one of the other crawl colours. Now, the Dunk's not the first deep diving hard body, but I do feel like it's probably one of the first that really put deep diving hard bodies on the map in Australia. We do have other things such as lay down minnows. You know, we've got daiwa spikes as well that have come in that look very similar. We've got some chinnoos here as well. Some rapalas that I've picked up recently that I'm really keen to try, but I think the Dunk is really the go-to for a lot of anglers all around the country. You know, they've got a great rattle, a great loud rattle. They've got a great ability to cast them a long way. They've got a good action, and the bream just find them irresistible. I mean, a lot of guys are catching quality big bream in very shallow water, just slow rolling these lures. So there's not a lot of action that needs to be imparted by the angler. Make nice long casts. You can fish them in a variety of situations, rock walls, pontoons, boat hulls, but the majority of people just fish these over sand and mud just by slow rolling. So over the years, it's caught some great fish for a number of anglers, and this is why the OSP Dunk is my number 3 in the countdown. At number 2 on the countdown is the Jackall Deep Diving Chubby in the rattling and floating version. So the Jackall Chubby's been around forever on the bream scene. It's probably caught more kilo plus fish than any other hard body that I know of, other than the number 1 lure that we will get to shortly. But the Suji Shrimp Jackall Chubby is an absolute standout. Over the years, there's been a few changes to the colours, to the hooks, to the hardware on these lures, but on the whole, the action that this lure provides, the colour and the sound of that rattle is just absolutely irresistible to bream. I love to roll these along rock walls, along flats, and just bump it over logs and timber. The fact that they are a floating lure really makes them quite snag proof. So as I said, you know, you can bump them into rocks and logs and then let that lure float up and then keep working it towards yourself. So fantastic lure in a number of different situations. It's caught a whole stack of fish over the years. Fat crank style lures are nothing new. You know, we've got a variety of different lures in the Australian market of that similar size and style, but the Jackall Chubby really shines for me. You know, some of the other lures that we can talk about in future videos, Megabass Griffins, Crankers, Atomic 38s, Pro lures. There's just a whole host of different fat style lures that have done well over the years, but none as well as the Jackall Chubby 38. And now for first place, big drum roll please, if I have a drum roll sound effect, is the Cranka Crab. Now this is probably a bit of a contentious one when we talk about, you know, hard bodies and what we perceive a hard body to be in that traditional style. But for me, I couldn't go past the Cranka Crab. I couldn't put it into my soft plastics video, and I think this is just a true standout of Australian ingenuity, but also it really just fits the bill quite well in terms of its construction and the materials that are used. But anyway, without rambling too much, the light olive Cranka Crab is my #1 hard body lure for brim of all time. I think Steezy, Coxie and the guys at the Cranka team have just done an absolutely smashing job at this particular lure. The Cranka Crab comes with 2 sets of trebles in the claws. So the two claws actually are made of foam. So once that lure is on the ground underwater, those 2 claws float in a defense stance. So a lot of the fish, when they come up to inspect the crab or the lure, they will try and immobilize that crab by picking at the claw, and that's exactly where those trebles are. So you get some fantastic hookup rates with these Cranka Crabs. They can be fished in a variety of different situations, very similar to what I talked about with some of the other lures. They're really just the best all-round lure there is. In terms of colours, they come in a variety of different colours. As I mentioned, my absolute favourite is olive, closely followed by glow, which is just the dark black. They come in a light and a heavy size, so roughly 3.9 for the lights and 5.9 for the heavies. And now they also come in a variety of different sizes for the body itself. My preferred size for the brim is the smallest of the 3. I have caught some really big brim on the medium size, which I think is the 60 or 65 mil from memory. But as an all-rounder, as an everyday that I will just tie on no matter where I'm going, it will be the small, light Cranka Crab in olive colour. That is the #1 brim hard body for me. Thanks. Here's a couple that didn't quite make my top 5, but I just wanted to call them out as a little special mention. Obviously the Daiwa double clutch, the Bass Day Sugar Deep 70, the Laydown Minnow, always a favourite, the Atomic Crank 38, and finally the Smith Jade. So not quite in my personal top 5, but absolutely gun lures as well. Okay, there we have it. That is the countdown. Now, I'm not sure if many of you guys would have picked my #1 or whether you knew that's the direction I was going to go with this hard body top 5, but the Cranka Crab is an absolute standout all around the country for black brim, for yellowfin brim, and just a host of other species. So, to recap, in 5th place, we had the Pontoon 21 Crackjack 48 mil, the suspending medium runner. In 4th place, we had the Gear SX40. In 3rd place, the OSP Duck. In 2nd place, the Jackall Chubby. And in 1st place, the Cranka Crab. Now, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Next week, I'm going to be taking you through a rundown of all my rods and reels for brim and bass. And then in the following videos, I'm going to be taking an in-depth look at braided lines, as well as leader options for brim and a variety of other species. Hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll catch you next week. Cheers.